Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be setting up the month of June in my agenda planner. We'll decorate all the monthly pages in a fun summary theme, so come plan with me. And I've got some washi tapes here, all ready to go, along with these mild liners I may use, this watercolor crayon, these small talk stickers, these planning things sticker books, and this Live Love Posh sticker book, which I'll pull from. Okay, you guys, so we will start off by setting up the monthly spread for June. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down some wax paper so I can figure out how the design is going to go for the rest of the month. I'm thinking to use some palms from the Tropical Vibes sticker book from Finalizing, these quotes from the Summer sticker book, and this Live Love Posh sticker book I'll be using for some decor items here in the clear sticker version. So my idea for this month was basically just a fun summery theme. I'm thinking just bright colors, get in the mood for summer to begin. So I'll be mixing and matching, like I said, those palms and those summer stickers. Let's go ahead and just clear off this sticker sheet so I can use it for any stickers that I want to put on hold for other spreads. I'm going to go ahead and just start in the sidebar, as you can see, filling that out with some decor. I use my monthly for just basic scheduling here in my agenda planner, so I don't have that much going on that I need to denote ahead of time. And that gives me a little bit of leeway so that I can use more of the space for decor. I'm going to pull in some washi tape now for more color, to see how I might layer that up so that it brings a little more life to some other areas on the spread. I'm using some Finalizing washi that I recently got in this really fine diagonal stripe. I really love this pattern. I got a bunch of colors in this pattern, and I've just found it to be very useful in a variety of spreads. So I'm pulling that in the pink and the blue, kind of bringing out those colors. And then I wanted to add some more of the yellow, since there's a nice like lemony element in most of the stickers. So I'm going to bring that in, and I only really had the right color in one of my wider washis. So I went ahead and just cut it in half to kind of keep the scale of that washi similar to the striped ones as well. I'm working on balancing out the spread right now by putting some decor in pretty much each of the four corners. I have the washi at the top and the bottom for now, and I think that looks really good, but we might play around because there's not much else going on in the center of the spread. So we'll see if I can bring something else in there, or maybe move the washi towards the middle if that works out better. Now, in the Live Love Posh sticker book, there is one sheet of these stickers in clear, and then the same set of stickers again, but in paper stickers. I'm going to try to stick with just the clear stickers so everything feels cohesive all across the multiple spreads we'll be setting up today. But if I have to dip into the paper stickers, I will. But I'm going to try to keep it all in clear stickers again, just so that it looks a little bit more uniform across all of the different spreads. And now I'm playing around with that washi, just trying to see how I might use that in some other areas, since I don't have a ton of decor to work with. And I do want to bring a little bit more life to the center areas of this monthly spread. I did find this page of different tropical leaves that I think will tie in well with the rest of the decor, so I can pull a little bit more from there and fill out some of these clusters I'm making in the corners. I also remembered that I'd pulled these small talk stickers, which is basically just a sheet of skinny quotes that I'll hopefully be able to pull in here just to, again, fill out some of this middle area. Maybe 2 or 3 of those quotes strategically placed there will really help beef up the look and the feel in there. And I tried the different shades of diagonal washi, but I just felt like they were a little too muted next to the black. So I decided to go a little more high contrast with the yellow, and I really like how that looks. And I think I want to bring in maybe another one of these quotes as well into the bottom corner, more for balance of the spread. I think it works a little better having the 2 quotes there in that diagonal relationship on each side of the spread. And then speaking of balance, I felt like 2 just wasn't working with the quote, so I'm going to bring in 1 more and then just reposition things in a more triangular relationship, and I think I like that better. There's a lot of empty days there at the beginning of the month, so I have a little more leeway with where I can put the quote there. Plus, like I said, this is my scheduling spread, and don't have a ton that I need to keep track of on this spread, specifically even for June, so I should be able to get away with a little more decor covering up that functional space. And all right, I think we've got enough to get started on this spread, laying down the actual stickers. So let's start moving things over. I'm going to start with these long washi tape clusters. Just kind of bridging those across the page like I had them on the wax paper. And moving things over as I see they will work out. I did pull this watercolor crayon. I think it's actually called a watercolor cream by Brie Reese. I have a set of maybe 10 in like a rainbow primary color scheme, and I have used them a lot. When I got them, I used them a lot to make backgrounds and stuff, and kind of forgot about them, to be honest, but then since we moved, they kind of resurfaced, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to bring those back out again, and thought that that would be a perfect match for the style of these stickers from the Live Love Posh sticker book. The stickers, a few of them have like a blue, almost crayon colored looking background that I thought would be a perfect match for what I'm doing here with the watercolor cream, which is to basically just kind of color it in, and then I'm just smoothing it out. It's very pliable on the page. It's made to be turned into watercolor, so its original purpose is that you draw with it, and then you go back and wet it with water on a brush and turn it into a true watercolor. But I don't want to add any water to the paper. I just want to have kind of that look of kind of a crayon, but with a little bit more pliability, like I guess was the best word I can think of for that. So they're really great for that. They're great for adding backgrounds. They don't seep into the page. They sit on top, but they're also just super creamy and easy to blend. So that's what we're going to use them for here. And I really like that added bit of blue, really tying everything together. I've got everything here onto the sheet now, and so I'm just going to go ahead and clean out the holes using my precision cutter and the chopping mat there. It's just the easiest way I found to clean the holes, since my punch is very temperamental. I like to keep it simple and do what I know works for sure, instead of worrying about things getting caught in my punch. So that said, I think we're done with that, and we will move on to the next spread, which is my monthly overview spread. This spread contains my monthly to-do list, some habits that I'll be tracking, as well as my monthly goals, which I'll set up in a separate video. But for now, we'll go ahead and do the same themed decor as we did there on the monthly, and I'll get started by laying in a few of these stickers now. I have a bit of space at the top there on the left. There's a nice dot grid area that's just wide open for decor. My monthly to-do list I'll put on that checklist there, so I do need a little bit more functional space, but I can get away with adding decor in and around there as well. So since I do fill out my monthly goals fairly complete, each one of those 4 boxes will be one of those goals and the milestones along with it. So I move that floral element that I was going to put in the center up to the top corner. I think that'll work out better, especially because it balances the spread a little bit more evenly, having the 2 top corners and then the bottom center with decor. I'm also bringing in some of those quotes from the Planning sticker book, and I decided to cut one up, kind of make it a little bit of a longer quote, filling up some more of that space in the top left. I've also pulled in a quote from that Small Talk sticker sheet, and again, just adding those repetition of items to complete the theme throughout all of the spreads. And finally, we need some washi tape to kind of tie everything together. So I'll bring in, again, more of that yellow and layer it up with the pink and the blue diagonal washi. And again, just thinking about how things are related to each other. So I'm kind of leaning towards more of a triangular relationship here, with the washi being at the top and the middle and the bottom. I think, again, it just helps with balance overall. And because of that, I'm kind of finding the quote to be a little bit awkward, the long, skinny quote. So let's figure out where we can put that. Maybe here on the side. I like having these lower profile elements here in the goals area, just so that, again, it leaves me as much functional space as possible. I felt like this bottom really needed a little bit more of something, so we're going to try to work in another quote here. I went ahead and cut up another one, and am using that long ways as well. I also will bring in another palm tree. This feels like it needs a little bit more down here at the bottom to really anchor the spread. And just finding little bits and pieces to help flesh out some of these clusters that I've made. Since I'm trying to stick with just these clear stickers, I am going to cut out some of them just to make them go a little further. So I actually borrowed a section of florals from that one sticker there, just so I can give this bottom a little bit more of that pink and floral feel to it. So I'm putting those in. Also adding a bit more to the edges of this top corner. Maybe add something else down here at the bottom. I really like this little basket, but it's not quite the right sizing for the space. Plus, it would really encroach upon that bottom goal box, so maybe I'll save that for the last spread. And alright, let's go ahead and start moving things over. I've got the first corner moved in. We'll go ahead and move in another one here. You can see that sticker has a similar blue kind of background to it from that Live Love Posh sticker book, so we'll definitely be recreating that at the bottom behind the quote there. Again, just with that watercolor cream. And we'll move over this last cluster. Just try to line everything up carefully. And like I said, just going to bring in more of that blue, tying those quotes in with those other elements. I feel like I need a little bit more of an extension there. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and separate out these pages. I will say that this is a bit more colorful than my norm. I tend to like to stick with kind of simpler color schemes just because it looks better more consistently. It's really hard once you get into 3-4 colors on a spread to make everything feel not too cluttered. But I think that this ended up working out pretty well. I will say the green kind of added that fourth color that I think might have been a little bit much, but it works overall, and I feel like it definitely has that summer vibe. So I went ahead with it, and I'm glad I tried that. Just something to keep in mind if you are struggling with colors on your spreads. Try limiting the colors first until you get real comfortable, and then branch out. So 1, 2, 3 colors max would be my suggestion until you get really confident with creating color schemes for your designs. And okay, we've already moved on to the very last spread, which is my social spread. It's a pretty customized spread of items from my shop. All of these spreads are available in some way in my shop, maybe not in the same configuration, but as different elements in my shop. This social stats page here on the left is a version of my monthly overview spread, but with some customizations that I've added specifically for social tracking for myself. I can do custom orders, so if there's anything like this that you would like, you can reach out to me on Etsy and I'd be happy to quote you on what you are looking for. So that said, I'm going to figure out where we can put some decor on these spreads without it messing with the functional area. It's a little bit trickier with these spreads that are more function heavy, so trying to find some good places to place these elasticers and still make it look fun and match up with the theme. So I have a pretty big area at the bottom of the right-handed schedule page, which I'll try to take advantage of there with some palm trees. And then there is a large kind of lined area on the social stats page on the left that I'll use for some decor as well. Let's see if I can use that mainly. Now at the top I have a little bit of leeway, but not a ton, so we'll see what we can make happen there. Also thinking about balancing the spread, so just trying to find happy homes for what is left. I'm going to try to bring that basket in here, which I really liked. We'll see if we can make that work, along with a quote and some more washi. Doing something similar here with the triangular shape being bottom heavy, and then with the top 2 corners on the right and the left being other areas for some decor. I am running out of viable stickers though, so it is getting trickier and trickier to fill out these little clusters I'm making. But I think we can make it work. I'm going to try to bring in some quotes here as well. Again, repetition, just tying all the elements together amongst the different spreads. And I feel like I need more leaves or more something here in the top left, so I'm trying to bring in some of those extra elements I had on this sheet or in the sticker book. And any clippings or trimmings that I didn't use from previous areas, I'm just going to try to bring those in if they can fit. Again, just to kind of flesh things out a bit more. I really do try to use all of the stickers that I have on a sticker sheet if it's like this where there's just very little left. I don't think I'm going to make it this time. I don't know if I have a spot for every little thing, but I'll see what I can do. And that said, let's go ahead and start moving things over and see what we've got. Start with the washi here at the top. I'm just going to go ahead and pre-cut it before I lay it in. Makes things a little bit easier to line up. And kind of change the orientation of this palm tree, so that made me rework this whole corner quite a bit. Started with trying to repurpose those trimmings and then bring back in the smaller palm, but it just wasn't really working how I had it, so let's see what else we can do. Just trying to use all the things here. Definitely want it to look like it's going off the page if I can, so it's not floating in air. I think that just would look better, so we're going to do that. We'll move on to the cluster here on the upper left. And I did some more reworking on this side as well. And we will lay in the big cluster here at the bottom. Let's try to get things even and lined up. Gonna add a little bit more of that watercolor cream behind the quote. I like how that turned out. Kind of help balance out the two sides of that cluster. And we'll go ahead and separate out the pages and trim out any excess sticker on the edges. And of course, we'll need to clean out the holes as well. How do you guys clean out the holes on your spreads? Do you just use your punch, like your Happy Planner punch, or one of the handheld, like the disc punches that we have, or an arc punch? I'm curious to know. Leave it down in the comments if you don't mind. And now we are back to the overview spread. I'll go ahead and highlight out some habit trackers, and I decided to stick with just the pink and the yellow for these spreads since I have that added blue background on most of the pages. I'll also pin in July to-dos, so I know that's the start of the to-do list, as well as the habits that I'll be tracking. And I just used my Tombow brush pen for that. Now we'll move on to numbering out those social media spreads. I'll just quickly date those undated months, get those ready to go. I have a 5-week month there on the right-handed page, so that very last day, the 30th, I may just move over to the next month. We'll add a little bit more highlighter here too on the stats page, adding in just a little bit more color, and then also areas for tracking my social stats. And pretty much once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye!